My first guest at the moment is the former Secretary General of the Lok Sabha, PDT Achary. He joins me. Mr. Achary, there is a convention according to the opposition that the Deputy Speaker's post must go to them, and then the Speaker is elected unanimously and is from the ruling party. Do you believe that's a convention that the opposition can claim exists, or is it entirely dependent on the ruling party? Is it a convention or a rule?
So there is a convention under which the Deputy Speaker goes to the opposition. And as far as possible, a consensus could be reached on the choice of the Speaker. Now this has been a convention, but there were departures from this on many occasions. In fact, I find from the records that in 1952, in 1976, in 1991 and 98, there was contest for the Speaker's post. So far as the Deputy Speaker's post is concerned, out of 14 Lok Sabhas, there were 13 Deputy Speakers, and out of 13, 9 were from the opposition. So that is the statistics. So that shows that by and large, Deputy Speaker's post used to go to the opposition.
But the fact is, Mr. Achary, there have been some instances, as you said, where the Deputy Speaker has been handpicked by the government itself. And now when I look at the record, the BJP is pointing out that in opposition ruled states in the country, both the Speaker and Deputy Speaker have been often of the ruling party. So is there a separate rule for Assembly, separate rule for Parliament?
Actually, state assemblies have never, as far as I know, honored this kind of a tradition. But this is a tradition which has been maintained by and large in Parliament.
Right. So you're saying there's a distinction between Parliament and state assemblies. Either way, in your view, could this have been sorted out? Could this have been sorted out by just sitting across the table? What is the normal practice? Surely the leaders, top leaders of both sides could have sorted this out. That hasn't happened. There seems to be a breakdown.
Yes, that has been the practice all through, because Speaker will always belong to the ruling party. That is an accepted thing. But on the choice of the Speaker, about the candidate, there used to be a discussion between the ruling party and the opposition. And they used to work out a consensus on that. That has been the practice. And that has been followed in most of the Lok Sabhas. That kind of a discussion and dialogue, used to take place. That is a very healthy kind of tradition. That is the thing. And when speakers were unanimously elected, used to be unanimously elected, and then the Deputy Speaker's post, that would go to the opposition. That used to be the practice. Because the point is that by that, there some kind of a balance is maintained in the House. The Speaker belongs to the ruling party, and the opposition belongs to the opposition. I mean, the Deputy Speaker's post will go to the opposition.
But why has this tradition been broken? Are we seeing once again a complete breakdown in parliamentary convention? We saw in the previous Lok Sabha this very Speaker, Om Birla, suspending 115 opposition MPs. Are we seeing every convention, Mr. Achary, being broken one by one?
Yes, in many cases I find that these conventions were actually broken and such unfortunate things happened as the suspension of members on in a large number, and that kind of thing that has happened, which should not have happened in the Parliament. But that tells its own story about the political atmosphere that prevails in the country.
Right. Let's leave it there. Dr. PDT Achary joining us, former Lok Sabha Secretary General, saying there is a convention, and that really is unfortunate that it's broken down once again.